what's up? This is Vault Kid, and welcome to a TV show review or animated TV show review. And something I've always wanted to review this for a while now, and I watched the show not so long ago. I think it was like a while back. Like I think it was around like in 2021 or 2022. I think it was. No, yeah, I think it was around 2021 actually, because I watched that. I never got to watch the show during the prime because I didn't. Well, this show, of course, is related to the movie franchise that I never grew up with it though. Unfortunately, I never. I know some people do that. I know some people do. Or probably watch this video though. That's good for you though, and I know. But at least I did got to watch 3 movies. Like a few years back. I did watch a couple. I got to watch 3 of the movies. With Emilio Estevez. Those 3 movies, and yep, of course, you know what I'm talking about. And the cartoon show that I also watched as well. But yeah, despite I never grew up with the movies nor the cartoon show. But of course, there's also another TV show which is just called. Just a live action TV show with Emilio Estevez coming back, which I have no interest with it for right now though. But and as of course, the cartoon series of The Mighty Ducks. So The Mighty Ducks came out in September 6th of 1996, and the final episodes of the show ended in January 17th, 1997. What's really quite funny is because the show came out the same year and almost the same time as it came out the same time as Road Rovers at the time, and yeah, it's quite funny though because it's quite ironic because the Mighty Ducks came out a day before Road Rovers came out, which is crazy to hear. So and as you know, how like I said with Road Rovers, that show ended around February of 1997, and before that, the Mighty Ducks ended in January of 1997. Well, a month before that, so that's pretty odd to hear though. But that's kind of it's still sad though because the show did. Some shows that we liked didn't last longer, but anyway. I'll just talk about my personal history about the show. Now, when I was a little kid, I remember owning a Toy Story VHS at the time. When I was very little, one of my brothers were, I remember I have a lot of older siblings. Well, not a lot. No, I didn't mean to say it like that. I have just older siblings is what I meant to tell you. So I didn't mean to say it that way, but And of course, we used to own a bunch of VHS and a few DVDs. Because I remember watching Disney movies on VHS. And from what I saw the advertisement of the preview, I remember watching some old '90s advertisement on the VHS tapes. Especially back in the early 2000s. Growing up at that time when I was very little at that time. In the early 2000s is what I meant to tell you, which is my time. Well, it's because I was born in 1999, which is why I never got to watch The Mighty Ducks, the cartoon show, nor the movies, of course, But anyway, I just saw the Mighty Ducks cartoon. I'm like, wow, it looks cool though, But I never got to watch the show, not even start to finish, unfortunately. But the goodness is about only a couple years, around a couple of years ago. Around 2021 or 2022, that's when I got to watch it now on Disney Plus. So thanks to Disney Plus, though. But yeah. So anyway. But yeah, the Mighty Ducks. Yep. I do like it, but no, I never got to watch it in my youth, nor as a teenager. Unfortunately, I don't know why I haven't got to watch it as a teenager because I could have at least easily can watch it on YouTube. How they put older shows from like the 80s and 90s. Footages on the internet, like whether it be YouTube or something, right? But I just never got around it. Unfortunately, I just didn't. I was, but I did get to watch Road Rovers in my late teens. Well, like the age of 19, or early adulthood, But the Mighty Ducks, I didn't. Unfortunately, well, I did get to watch it somewhere in my early adult years. At the age of 22 probably, yeah. That's how, yeah. But yeah, that's never got to watch the show growing up. But I did got to watch it in my of course, my early adulthood, but now I'm in my mid-adulthood, probably, because I'm 26 years old now, of course, so, you know. But anyway, that's enough of that personal talk. Let's just talk about the show itself. Now, the show, of course, you know, I don't remember much details about the show, though, unfortunately. All I can tell you that, I'll just tell you just a little bit of it, and the characters as well. So, of course, we've got the characters, you know, they're all humanoid ducks from outer space, from another planet, and they're both on the attack, of course, and there's certain ones that got on the ship, you know, and of course we've got ducks, you know, going into Earth, you know, and we got met with this guy who was in charge with the hockey players, you know, or, you know, that's looking for certain hockey players, right? And of course the Mighty Ducks, you know, playing hockey, and not only that, they even fight crimes. Fighting crimes, a bunch of alien characters from outer space, yada yada yada. And yeah, those are pretty much like the Mighty Ducks superheroes, you know, or something like that. Humanoid ducks superheroes, you know. But yeah, which is kind of like Road Rovers in a way, you know, which is quite funny to hear, you know. But yeah, I know. Yeah, it's kind of cool that both of those shows came out the same year, except Road Rovers is made by Warner Brothers, and the Mighty Ducks, the cartoon show is made by Disney, of course. So, you know, of course, we got the leader we got the character that used to be the leader named Kennard, you know, that gets sucked out of the ship, and then he gave Wild Wing the mask. So Wild Wing put the mask on, you know, the golden mask. Yeah, of course, yeah. What's quite really ironic in my mind is that the golden mask also appeared on the cover of the Mighty Ducks 3, or D3 of the Mighty Ducks. And people just don't seem to remember it back then, you know? I mean, I know I've seen a couple of people who grew up in the 90s who remember the show, though, but I have a couple of friends. But yeah. Now, the Mighty Ducks, you know, let's just talk about the characters. Now, we got Wild Wing, who's the leader of the Mighty Ducks, the Mighty Ducks group, you know. Wild Wing, Flashblade, yeah, I think it was, yeah. And we got Nosedive Flashblade, who is the younger, which is Wild Wing's younger brother, of course, yeah. And we got Duke L. Orange, you know, the one with the samurai, you know, weapon, you know, yeah, that character. And we got Mallory, Tanya, Gran, and of course, Phil Palmfeather. Phil, yeah, I said it wrong. Phil Palmfeather, yeah. Phil Palmfeather, you know, who's looking for the hockey teams, you know, and finally have the Mighty Ducks, you know, join in, you know. Of course, you know, they play hockey, like I said, right? And not only they play hockey, they also fight against, you know, the alien, the ones from outer space, or I mean the bad ones from outer space is what I'm trying to tell you, and crimes as well. Yeah, crimes as well, pretty much the same thing. And then we got the villains as well. We got Lord Dragonus. I don't know how you pronounce that name, Lord Dragonus. That's a villain. That's one of the villains. Sham Leon and Wrath. And of course, we got the one, you know, before Wild Wing become the leader. Of course, we got Thenard Thunderbeak, who pretty much was the leader of them, but now, you know, of course, like I said, got sucked out, and you know, and then you know, Wild Wing becomes the leader. Yep. So yeah. Now, anyways, and I gotta say, it is quite cool though. You know, we got, you know, most of the characters are males, and of course we got only two females, which is pretty convenient, which is pretty interesting, if you ask me, because, you know, it's kind of how like the Road Rovers only got like most of the males, you know, it's got like one female, you know, and well, except we got another female that's like the Space Rovers, you know. But yeah, so that kind of reminds me of it by watching the Mighty Ducks cartoon, you know, about 2 years after becoming a fan of the Road Rovers, you know. So, you know. What I'm trying to say. Sorry, I didn't mean to do my throat. Now, what is my favorite Mighty Ducks characters? Well, how about I'll start with my number one favorite, in my opinion, and two other favorite characters besides that. Now, think my number one favorite character in my opinion is probably his Nosedive, probably. Yeah, Nosedive. Yeah, in my opinion, because I thought he was pretty unique, really funny, really, really funny, really pretty cool though. I like his personality as well. I thought he was. I thought he was, rock on as well. Quite funny. And next one we got Mallory, which I do. Yes, I know I do like this character. Yeah, she's sweet, kind, and she's badass as well though. Especially that's what I like about her as well though. And my third favorite is of course Duke. Duke Lawrence, whatever. I thought he was really badass as well, especially with the samurai sword and everything. Which weapon he uses. Even the one with the eye patch, which I thought he looks pretty cool though. But I find it cool how a good character, have eye patches, But yeah, I find it pretty unique. So that's pretty much both my favorite characters. I think, Now, the Mighty Ducks cartoon, I think was a really great underrated cartoon in my opinion. I know some people didn't like it, especially for back then, when it first came out. But I enjoyed the show the way it is, alright? I love it. I love the characters. I love the voice casting and everything. I loved the writing, storylines, it may have flaws here and there, but I still loved it, I'm glad I got to watch it now, despite I never grew up with it, despite that. But I'm glad I got to watch it until, I'm glad I got to watch it, around 2021, like around about a few years ago though, because, I was around 22 when I first watched it on Disney Plus, so, But you see, guys, this is what I'm trying to tell you. I'm 26 years old, Yeah. So this show came out in 1996, right? So yeah, but yeah, like I said, I never got to watch it on air just because I wasn't alive or born at the time when it came out though, and same with the Road Rovers, or some other 90s cartoon. I was gonna say the 1990s has been a really perfect decade for cartoon shows. Like we got Road Rovers, Sonic the Hedgehog, or Sonic AM, whatever. The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic Underground, Tailspin, the Mighty Ducks. Except there's a bunch of there's a few other cartoons I didn't watch. Never have feel like checking out yet, such as Gargoyles, Extreme Dinosaurs, Straight Sharks, etc. But yeah, so yeah, I'm just saying though. Even Hey Arnold as well, which is part of the '90s cartoon as well, and Cat Dog, But yeah, there's only two '90s Nickelodeon cartoons I got to watch growing up, at least, Now, even as Road Rovers, that's a part of my late teenager, despite that's my part adulthood, but yeah, so anyway. But anyway, guys, I think that's pretty much it for this video, though, and I kind of hope. What's really surprised me, I'm just surprised that Disney didn't release the Mighty Ducks cartoon on DVD. Really? What is so hard about that? Come on, Disney, just at least release that show just for once on DVD. Or even on Blu-ray or whatever how you can release it. Seriously, Disney, just release the Mighty Ducks, the cartoon show of the Mighty Ducks from 1996 till 1997. Okay, Disney, just please release the Mighty Ducks, all right? Please. I don't know what's going on, and I have no idea. Okay. I would love to pick. Seriously, I would love to pre-order, or pick it up if they release the animated series / cartoon of the Mighty Ducks, at least on DVD and Blu-ray from Disney. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video or so. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace out. Team with respect, and I'll see you guys later, guys.